Good wonderful morning, United States. Good wonderful afternoon, Germany. Good evening, Singapore and China. Welcome to Fashion Business Mastermind Q&A, your weekly board meeting where you ask important questions and get answers that help you to move the needle in your business. I'm Julianne Tulfie, fashion inventor and manufacturer, 15 years in business and your mentor on this wonderful journey. Is Tammy already there? I hope she joined. Cannot see who is on the call. I see Chantel that you are there. Leila, good to see you. Welcome to Fashion Business Mastermind Q&A. Ask your questions about your business and they shall be answered. Let's start with the question number 1. Cynthia is asking, do you recommend working on vacation or do you recommend a strict no work policy while traveling? Well, I'm a workaholic and of course I work during the vacation. So I would say please decide for yourself. Do as you feel. You can work at vacation or no, it does not even matter. What matters is that you get things done. And of course that you have fun on vacation too. You cannot be working 24/7. So this is my take. Question number 2. Chantel is asking, what is a full service manufacturer? A full-service manufacturer is a manufacturing company that offers end-to-end services. So we are talking now about the garment manufacturing. So garment manufacturer who offers end-to-end services in production of clothing is a full-service manufacturer. In fashion business, those services that a full-service manufacturer is providing are tag pack making, pattern making, sample making, package development, sourcing of fabrics and trims, bulk production of the product, quality control during the production and after it, and lab testing. If you need any lab testing, the full service production manufacturer will help you to run it. And of course logistics. Once everything is finished, it's being shipped to you, so the full service manufacturer will take care of logistics too. Of course, the full service manufacturer does not do everything themselves. They may outsource certain parts as logistics, for example. So they will not be the company who runs the ships that go to your harbor now, but they will be outsourcing that. But most of the time they would have their own pattern makers, their own tech pack makers, their own sample makers, and they would outsource packaging development. Speaking from my own experience, they would be sourcing fabrics and trims by themselves, do bulk production, quality control, and outsource lab testing to local labs. Our company, Quantum Factory, is a full-service manufacturer. We provide to our clients an end-to-end experience, so we do everything for our client. A not full-service manufacturer, on the other hand, relies on you to provide a tag pack to them, to provide a pattern to them, to provide original samples to them. They will receive your tag pack, your original sample that you've developed somewhere else with somebody else, your pattern that again you have made by yourself or with somebody else, and you are sending your fabrics and trims to them as well. They will be running a counter sample for you. Then you receive the counter sample, you approve it, and then they will run the bulk production for you. Again, you will send fabrics and trims to them to cut the bulk production. Once the bulk production is finished, you will be the one responsible for the quality control. If there is any lab testing that needs to be done, you will be running the lab testing and you will be the one who is responsible for the shipment. Of course, again, somebody else will be shipping for you, but you will be the one who is project managing the shipment. Is it possible that the non-full service manufacturers do the work of a full service manufacturer? No. They may tell you that they will, but their quality of this service sucks totally, so you will just lose time. The third question by Chantel is, what are the pros and cons of working with a full service manufacturer? So the con of a full-service manufacturer is that you never know whether a manufacturer who says they are a full-service manufacturer really are a high-quality full-service manufacturer. A big chunk of manufacturers will tell you that they are a full-service manufacturer, and then they will not be able to deliver. So you will just lose time. And it takes time to find a manufacturer. There are steps written out on the internet how you find a manufacturer. You will be testing several manufacturers, and at the end of the day, you will find one who really works the best for you. But when I'm speaking to my clients, they would say, I've been looking for you for 8 years. So this is a common thing. I would say this is a con. When you start working with a manufacturer and they say they are a full service one, you never know until you've tested them. The pros of working with the full service manufacturers are that you don't have to put your own time into manufacturing, and you can focus on what you have to focus as a business owner. You can focus on marketing and on sales. As a business owner, when you launch your own company, you should be focusing on marketing and sales until your revenue reaches $1 million per year. After that, there will be more things that you'll need to pay attention to, but before that, you're just focusing on marketing and sales. And it is a big deal if you do not have to do the manufacturing as well, because this is a task that you need to carry out on a daily basis, as a matter of fact. Imagine that you are a smart business owner, and from the very beginning you say, okay, I'm not going to run the manufacturing myself. I still don't want to work with a full service manufacturer. I want to have a person who will coordinate everything for me. And so you will need to hire a person who will coordinate everything for you. However, the pro of working with a full service manufacturer in this particular case would be that it is cheaper to work with a full service one than to pay for all these services or to hire someone to do all these services. So if you want to run all these services by yourself, you want to do the tech pack, you want to do the pattern, you want to create the first sample, you want to source fabrics, you need to have a person, a full-time person on that. You can, of course, outsource certain things, but you have to have a technologist that works for you. It has to be a garment technologist, and this person is expensive. Somebody who understands fit. It's extremely important. You have to have somebody who understands the performance of fabrics, the fit, all the sizing, and this person is expensive. If you hire someone who is just your virtual assistant and you tell to your virtual assistant, go and work with a not full service manufacturer, the virtual assistant will produce tech packs for you that are ill-fitted and ugly. They will source fabrics without any knowledge about fabrics that are not usable for this type of garment. So you need to have, either you hire your own garment technologist and this person develops the patterns, develops the tech packs, sources the fabrics, or you go and work with a full service manufacturer, and it's less expensive. Most of the designers that I know who would start working with the factories, they would hire an assistant, and this assistant would be talking to the factories. The assistant would have zero knowledge about nothing. So being a full service manufacturer, we have knowledge about everything. So when I'm talking to these assistants, I know for a fact that they do not understand garments at all. So there is absolutely impossible to get any information from the assistant, and all the development has to happen at the factory, and all the responsibility is being taken by the factory for the fit of the garment, for the fabrics, for the trims that are being used. All the recommendations for fabric and trims use and for the fit and for everything has to come from the factory. And in order to be able to recommend those things, you have to have people in place who understand it. And these people are expensive. So when people say, I want to work directly with the factory because I want to save money, you won't save money, because you will get ill-fitted products, bad developments, wrong sizing, everything. So there will be a delayed effect of a couple of years and several thousands of investment into trying to do it yourself. Or you go and you hire a person who is a garment technician, knows everything about it, does your patterns, or maybe outsources the patterns, but understands them, and talks to the factories, and sources all the fabrics, understands the fabrics, understands performance of the fabrics, which fabric can be used for what type of garment, which fabric has what type of qualities. You can hire this person. If you have such a person in place that runs all your production, you can work with any factory. It does not matter anymore, because you have a professional in place, not just a virtual assistant. Nothing against virtual assistants, but you have to have people, employ people that are suitable for a certain position. You cannot employ a virtual assistant who to do your tech packs if they have zero experience with garment construction. So this is what I have to say about the full service manufacturers, pros and cons. Question number 4. What are the consequences of not having RN number for your business? Is it required? I went to the website of the Federal Trade Commission, and this is what the Federal Trade Commission website says. RN stands for Registered Identification Number. It is a number issued by the Federal Trade Commission to U.S. businesses that manufacture, import, distribute, or sell products covered by the Textile, Wool, and Fur Acts. Businesses can use this number on product labels instead of the company name. So the legislation of the United States says that a company name should be listed on the label of a product. If you do not want to list your company name on the label, because your company name either is too long or you have any other strategic thoughts about not placing your company name on the label, you can use an RN number instead of using your company name. And you do not have to apply for an RN number. You just put your company name on the label. If you don't want to, then you get your RN number on the label. And then everybody can trace your company and see who is the distributor, the importer, the manufacturer of this product. You do not have to have it, but you have to have the company name on it. And then the question is, why do some labels do not have it? So there are labels in the United States who do not have RN number and they do not have their company name. They just never read the legislation and nobody knocked on their door yet, but it may happen any day. So you want to comply. What are the other resources out there to get funding for a new business that's less than a year old? It's a very good question. So how to get your fashion product funded? In general terms, what do you need money for as a fashion label owner? You need it for inventory, you need it for advertisement, and you need it to pay yourself and your stuff once you have stuff. The way how you get funded depends, and your funding needs depend on whether you do or do not have sales yet. When you start out and you have no sales yet, here are the most likely sources of capital. 1, earn this capital, so pre-sell your products and get funded in this way. 2, use your savings. 3, apply for a grant. This is very popular and there are a lot of grants that you can win. I recommend anybody to search for grants in your business area and apply for all the grants possible. We have a good experiences with my students winning grants. 4, get a partner on it or an investor. And 5, get a loan from your bank or family. So let's start with the savings. In case you have enough starting capital, what you do is you can use your starting capital to pay inventory, advertisement, and your own salary. Here's one important point. If you do not want to invest your own capital into a business venture, I do not recommend you to start with this business venture. It means that you do not believe into this business venture and the chances to succeed are 0 in this particular case. If you feel good about investing your savings into a new venture, use your savings to pay your own salary, to pay for the initial inventory, and then use the sales revenues from your product to pay for advertisement and for the next inventory. Eventually, you want to finance everything from the sales of your product. In the case that you do not have your own savings or you're through your savings and there is no way to come to money by getting an investor or a partner or any other way, then I suggest that you work for money. You get a 9-to-5, and this 9-to-5 will pay your own salary, and then you will sell your product and finance your own advertisement of your product and the new inventory from the sales of your product. Of course, you can always get a loan from a bank or from a micro lender, or get an investor on board. So the micro lender is for somebody who just begins, less than 2 years old. As a company, the micro lender is easier to approach and to get funding. The banks are more difficult. Investor is, as a matter of fact, easy as well. But here you just need to understand that once you get an investor on board, there are certain terms to the investment. If you are getting an investor that just invests in you and you pay it back with a percent. This is one thing, but maybe the investor wants to have a percentage of your company. This is another thing. So there are a lot of questions that you need to answer. Or do you want to get an investor on board? If you are taking cash from the bank, they most of the time they want a collateral. So what the bank wants to see is that you have a collateral. So they will ask you to put this loan on your house, for example, or they want to see traction. So they want to see your selling. They want to see your contracts. If you do not have any contracts, they will want to have a different type of collateral. And here you need to see, do I want to put the loan on my house, for example? Or any other asset that you own. So the banks, they rarely give loans just like that for a business. It's very difficult. The micro lenders, they do. Google micro lenders in your area and then approach them and see their terms and conditions. At the moment that you have an inventory as a fashion business, it is way much easier for you to get funds from selling this inventory than from anything else. So I would say focus on the sales of your inventory and find the ways to start selling and to grow your sales and finance everything from the sales of your inventory. The banks and investors, they want to see traction first. So they want to see your selling first. They do not invest into a company that doesn't sell. The next part is as follows. So once your company starts growing, so you have your initial inventory, you are selling this inventory, your sales start growing, you will need additional capital to finance your inventory. So how do you finance your inventory? There are two things. One is you do it from your sales again. So how do you do that? You launch a continuity program, a membership program, where your clients are purchasing your product every month or every 3 months, depending on the product. You're Tammy, I know this is Tammy's question. You have a continuity program and your clients are getting 1 pair of socks every 3 months right now. By having a continuity program, you are having on average about 15.5 days of cash advance. So you have a predictable volumes. When you have predictable volumes, you already can make predictable contracts with your manufacturers, and you can negotiate with your manufacturer certain payment terms that will help you to bear the investment into your inventory. If you do not know when and how many units are you going to buy, you do not have any leverage. At the moment that you know what amount of socks do you need per month, this is when you give a certainty to your manufacturer, this is when you get leverage. So I would recommend to everybody to launch a continuity program with your product. At the moment that your company is growing and you need money to finance your inventory, you can get financing from financial institutions against the contracts. For example, you have contracts with large wholesalers that they are taking 1,000 pairs of socks from you per month. The financial institution will lend you funds against these contracts and they will get a small percentage from it as a commission. But you are basically, you start working with the money of a financial institution to pay to your manufacturer and to pay for the shipment, to pay for everything. There are different types of financial institutions that serve account receivable financing. It's also called factoring, by the way. Those can be banks or those can be industrial financial institutions. So if it is a bank, the bank most likely will work as follows. They will provide a credit to you against those contracts, and you will be collecting the money to this bank from your client, and and the bank will withdraw a percentage, and you will get the remaining funds. And what's very interesting, in fashion industry, there are financial institutions, companies that are set up. They're not banks. They're financial institutions for garment industries that are financing growing businesses against the account receivable. So it means that you sign a contract with such a financial institution and they are paying for everybody. So they are basically they are paying directly to your manufacturer. They are paying directly for the shipment. They are collecting money directly from your client, and then they are paying your part of the whole thing to you. This is as far as I have seen right now. It is possible that there are different types of arrangements where you collect everything yourself to your bank and then you pay this financial institution. This is something that first you will need to figure out what financial institution do you want to work with, and the second one, you will need to figure out what are their working procedures and how do they work. I would say, from my perspective, it is easier to get factoring, and it's more advantageous to get factoring from a financial institution that is specialized on the clothing business rather than going to a bank. Banks are way much more conservative because they are serving all the industries and they have no knowledge across all the industries. But the financial institutions who are factoring or do account receivable financing for fashion businesses, they know all about it. And this is why their service levels are way much better than service levels of a bank. So this is when, at the moment when you start growing, you need money for inventory. This is how I would say you should go about in getting funds for your inventory. And of course, the second way how you can get funds for inventory would be a business loan. This is a most traditional method. Again, you can come to the bank and say, look, here are my contracts and this is how it's going, and I would love to have a business loan. Most of the time, again, they will ask for collateral. You will need to see what collateral can you offer to a bank. Please pay attention to this message. If you are in the United States and your business is 2 years old, check with the Small Business Administration for programs they have to help new businesses, including loans. The most important part is that until you show that you are successful on a small scale, there are not many institutions that will touch you in terms of providing loans to you. They want to see someone succeed first, and then they want to support growth. They don't want to support a proof of concept. So for the proof of concept, when you're starting something, who can you inspire to invest into you? It will be a partner, an investor, or it will be your family, or those will be your savings. Maybe it will be a micro-lending institution. They support starters as well with a small loan. It's not large, probably most likely something between $2,000 and $10,000, I would say, the micro-lending. Everybody becomes increasingly interested in you at the moment that you start selling and show the proof of concept. Tammy, at this point in time, I know that you have a strategy that is a wholesale strategy. So you are about to embark on Range Me. And Range Me gives you access to boutiques and to wholesalers in the country. So I would say your first focus would be to build up a volume, a significant volume of, said, 1,000 units per month in wholesale sales. At the moment that you have built it up, it is easy for you with the contracts, of course, with the wholesalers. It will be easy for you to get funding for the inventory. Another type of funding is what I see more and more in United States. Don't know whether it's available. I've never searched for in Europe, for example. But what you see is that there are companies advertising online to new business owners, e-commerce retailers. Basically, what they're telling you is that they are going to support your growth. They will give you money for advertisement. But in order to get money for advertisement from them, you need to show them proof of concept in terms of annual revenue. So they have a requirement that you have to meet in annual revenue. And once you have hit this annual revenue, this is when they say, okay, this works. So this product is sellable, it's a lot of traction around this product and we want to support it. So they will give you money for advertisement. Again, they will get some commission from it, but you can leverage other people's money for your advertisement as well. So this is what I have to say about the funding. Thank you very much for being with me here today on our weekly Q&A. If you are in fashion business and you absolutely need help with your fashion business, grab the link in my bio or under this video and embark the 14 days free trial in Fashion Business Mastermind. In these 14 days, you will recalibrate your business and do more for your business than you have done in the past 3 years. This is a fact confirmed by all Fashion Business Mastermind members. If you have any questions about your fashion business, please DM me on TikTok or put them into the comments under this video. We are going live with questions about fashion business every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Berlin time. Have a great day and wear your passion!